Good evening, everyone, and happy Samhain or happy Halloween. I hope you all are doing great. Let's see, we got a few people in here already. Actually, quite a few people. Looks like a lot of people decided to join us tonight for Halloween. It's awesome to see. Um, as always, do make sure you hit the like button if you are here. That way, YouTube and the algorithm will see that and they'll show the content to more people so more people can see it. And it just lets the YouTube algorithm to know to show it to more people. Ironically, looks like some people left when I got here. I must be that ugly. That's okay. See what we got in here. Anthony, good to see you. Dusselholt, good to see you. Luna, hey. By the way, Luna, your final art piece for Inktober, loved it. Let's see here. Is that Taka? Welcome. Happy Halloween to you. I think this might be your first time into a stream. Odie, hello. I think that might be another first timer. Angela, good to see you back. Divine Cardomancer, good to see you. Yep, not too many days of the year you get a chance to wear a tricorn, so I grabbed it. Ms. Wheats, good to see you. Moonradish, hello. Win-win. Happy Halloween to you too. Jew, hi, good to see you. Welcome. Hope you enjoy your first time here. What's up? You're at work but listening. Hey, well, at least we can entertain you while you're at work a little bit. So, a few quick things before I forget them. First off, for all those people who's been asking me to continue the Kitchen Witchery series and have even requested I do a few more videos on the magical properties of meat. Tuesday, November 2nd. Since all the big feasting holidays take off in November, I figured what better time to actually do that. So on November 2nd, we will continue the Kitchen Witchery series with the magical properties of pork, exactly as my viewers have requested. And I'll be sharing a very, very simple recipe in the video to just go ahead and jumpstart that and get you going. And we are looking at doing more actual videos in the cooking series. I didn't realize how many of you people actually enjoyed that series. But we will be doing more of that, and we will talk a bit more about how you can use magical properties or just magic in your cooking in general. But yeah, so there we go. Let's see. Yeah, Luna, I totally get that. I mean, she is pretty much the queen of Halloween in my mind, too, coming from an old schooler. So I get that. Perfect person to play homage to. Birdie Bones, good to see you. Bornoldas, hello, good to see you. Hermetic times. Are there any rituals similar to the Dragon's Flame ritual beginners may utilize? Well, first off, the Dragon's Flame ritual is perfect for beginners, and it can be utilized in any system of magic unless you're intending to attempt to harm dragons, which, no matter the system, that won't end well. But outside of that, I mean, the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, I know there's a lot of Wiccan traditions that kind of put that up on a pedestal like it is the best ritual you can do. That's like only like tier 3 witches should learn it. No, that ritual is perfectly safe and okay for beginners because, well, if you join ceremonial magic, they give you this to play with like a parent would give a child a ball to begin your training. It is literally a beginner's ritual. Now, grant you, with the more skill you get, the better understanding you get, the better it gets. But that's the same with any ritual, really. So that would be one you could look up. And there are variants of it out there that you could possibly find that you might, if you don't like using the angels or the god names associated with the traditional. I know many people have asked me many times if I would ever share or post the draconic version of the lesser vanishing ritual that me and a few other magicians came up with. So I am considering sharing that with the subscriber members first in a write up format and potentially doing a video on it probably this coming year. Is that a new tattoo on your forearm? Nope, I've not gotten any new tattoos. All the tattoos I've got on my arms are still currently the same ones. So I don't know exactly which one you're talking about, whether it be my runic tattoo or the Carpe Diem. So, but let's see. Moon Radish, the summoning spirit said when doing an invocation to ask the entity to sign their name as to identify themselves. The book says they can only sign their true name. Is this true? Actually, entities don't lie, so that is actually a truth. But like you could also just really ask an entity that. Um, so yeah, you could ask them to sign it just as well. Um, of course, you're going to need your arcane sight to be really functional to do that. But if you're doing evocation, you should have already worked your arcane senses up anyway. So that's a valid use of that for sure. Um, and in all honesty, most entities wouldn't lie to you. Now, the exception to this is if you're working with human spirits are really the only danger you actually have. Um, I know there's a lot of religious dogma that wants to terrify people into thinking working with entities in general is dangerous, but largely it's the human spirit you got to worry about. Because a person who was a crap person in life will be a crap person in death. Um, so you do have that. Um, so if you have a human spirit who is attempting to pretend to be a larger entity, whether it be an archangel, a powerful demon, or a deity, yeah, they will not be able to write the name of that entity out because in writing its name or saying its name, they draw its attention. And well, let's just say drawing its attention is the last thing they want to do if they're pretending to be it. But at the same time, if you've set your space up, like look at the Dragon's Flame ritual, for example, it cleanses, protects, and sets the space up and empowers it for the working you're getting ready to do. So if that space is set up, a human spirit can't randomly wander in. So it is an extra way of setting the area up. Oh, it would be hilarious, Angela. It would be hilarious. I have seen people who willy nilly channel and speak to entities with just no precaution. They just throw caution to the wind, and they'll just contact whatever spirits around. And so, ironically, they do get into contact with random entities with no ritual setup at all. So in those cases, it has happened, and entities have tried to pass themselves off as something bigger and better than they are in order to. But it was these very, very just lesser human spirits that honestly, um, you could have used any kind of cleansing at all to get rid of them. But yeah, the second you ask for them to like write a name or something, it's going to draw some attention. It's kind of funny. Yes, Bernaldus, and you're right. True name is not something that would likely be known. and will not likely be given, but it will be a name that is known by it, a name that is associated with it, which can draw its attention. Those names are the same names that will draw its attention and therefore um, could be used to identify it and, well, keep the pretenders out. Let's see here. The trash can, a negatively charged egg after a cleansing is not going to cause any harm to anything. I know you have a lot of these spiritualists who really seem to have this ideal that there is good energy and there is bad energy. Energy is energy, it changes its vibrational rates, and that's about it. It is a part of a mechanism. Um, and when you do a cleansing, you're essentially clearing out the energy. So, unless you willingly program that egg to do something horrible, the egg's just fine and dandy after the cleansing. I wouldn't eat it, but you just have to dispose of it. It's not going to cause any harm. And in fact, in a landfill, it's going to come in contact with the earth, ground itself out naturally through biodegradable. The natural cycle of decay is actually a cycle of cleansing. And that's like if you bury something, it's putting it back into that cycle of decay in order to ground out, cleanse the energy, and bring it back into a balanced state. This fear that a lot of religions and spiritual traditions has built up around these things is actually somewhat laughable. But you can easily just bury them, toss them in the garbage, a compost heap, anything like that. And it's going to become a natural part of the process of decay. Decay, rain, all those things are just going to naturally cleanse it and do away with it. Drake, have you ever worked with angels, and do we need to do a banishing ritual for angel invocation to ward off negative energies? Okay, win-win. First off, depends on what you're talking about. Are you talking about invocation or evocation? Because they're not the same thing. Invocations where you're actually evoking an entity inside of you. Um, Evocation is where you actually bring the entity into the space around you. Now, let's be clear here. When we do a ritual like the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, we're not banishing entities, we're cleansing and setting the space. It's like cleaning your house before you invite a guest over. You know what I mean? You're actually setting the space to allow it to be set up for the entity, as well as it allows you to focus better for the evocation. So part of the rituals for you, not just them. Do you have to do it? No, you do not. Would I do it as a good Southern boy? Yeah, I would. I've been taught hospitality rules my whole life. If I don't do something to prepare for my guest, I just don't feel right. I don't. So yeah, when it comes to just general hospitality, I always do a little something for my guest. Do the best I can. So doing a simple ritual like the Dragon's Flame ritual, the Lesser Vanishing ritual, or just a simple circle casting to help set the space is really a great way to do it. But it also does help to focus us. And evocation is no small feat, and it doesn't need a lot of focus, and you need to be able to maintain that focus for the entire process. So a lot of that is also going to be for you, not just them. Which decluttering is also for us if you think about it. Because if you've decluttered the house, when your guest gets there, that's less you have to do. You're not having to move clothes around. You're not having to rearrange and clear stuff off. Everything's already done. Your attention is on your guest and you can enjoy it. It's kind of the same concept there. But yes, if you're doing evocation of any entity, you are inviting them into your house and you should do so respectfully and you should be a good host. So it's not a matter of do you need to do it just to do the evocation, But in my personal opinion, you should do it just to set the space and make sure you and them are good and free of distractions, just so you can spend the time together, if that makes sense. With the no, the dragon rulers would not get annoyed if you did the dragon's flame multiple times a day. Again, the dragon's flame ritual only calls in a small portion of their energy. It doesn't call them specifically. It's only calling in a very small portion of their energy. And any of you who took Dragon Magic 101 and have worked directly with these rulers in the way that we do in that class, you understand what I mean. I know a lot of people who do the Dragon's Flame ritual, and they're amazed at how powerful the ritual itself is. And it does kind of throw them off when they actually work directly with the rulers through a direct contact because of that. And even that said, the dragon rulers, they love to talk. So even if you did multiple evocations of the same ruler in one day, assuming you've met all the criteria to actually fully evoke them, they won't get annoyed. They love to spend time with people, which is what the path working for 101 is about. It's about really building that connection up. Let's see. Mugs up to y'all too there, AT. Mugs up. Tonight, I believe we are going to do some slow cooked pork steaks for dinner tonight. Let's see, Jupiter, astral or physical evocation. Do I have a preference? That's a good question. Really depends on what I'm doing there, Jupiter. It does. By and large, I don't have a preference in general. Because there's a lot of times where I love astral evocation, and I'll do the astral evocation from my sanctum because I'm more seeking an audience and a sit down and a discussion. I'm not trying to manifest anything specifically. I'm just seeking knowledge and wisdom, and that's something that can be easily done through a face-to-face conversation, through the astral sanctum, soul travel, and astral evocation. So I do actually enjoy that, and I do spend a lot of time in my sanctum, so I do a lot of that. Now, that said, if I'm manifesting a tangible or physical change within the physical plane, I always utilize full physical evocation because, as we've discussed in videos prior, the shorter the energy has to go from source to the physical plane, the quicker and more powerful the manifestation is going to be. That's actually the entire premise behind evocation. Instead of trying to get the entity that you're getting to help you send the energy from wherever it's at out there in the multiverse, you actually summon its essence to the physical plane so it starts doing the work here. And I've described this before as a fire hose. If you try to drink from a fire hose close up, it'll blow your head off. But 300, 400, 500 yards off, it ain't no deal. It loses power. It loses pressure the further it goes away from the source. Magic and energy works under the same principles. So it really depends on the situation. If I am seeking to manifest a change in the physical, I lean toward physical evocation. If I'm just wanting to sit, talk, and spend time with a friend or ally through evocation, which I do a lot, it doesn't really matter to me. I'll do whichever one strikes me or whichever one I think they might be in the mood for. So it just, yeah, in that situation, I don't really have a preference. It's just whatever the day feels like on that one. Good question, though. Angela, a lot of, oh yeah, entities seem to love company. They really do. They love to spend time and shoot the shit with us, which I adore. I absolutely adore. I don't know if you've all noticed this, but I'm a talker. Once you get me started, it's hard to shut me up. Um, but which is why we have Jade to throw clocks at me to make sure, I know what time it is on the streams. So I absolutely love to spend time with these entities, sit down, talk with them. And that's the reason I treat them as friends and allies. I do. I treat them with absolute respect. And I just love to be able to chat. And they seem to have that same desire to talk and get to know us. And I once asked Hell, for someone as calm as she is most of the time, not all the time, um, I told her it once seemed surprising that she could be so talkative. And she's like, well, she loves to learn about people because it really helps her in what she does, in her position, in her job. But she also finds that as she learns about people, and then people have the opportunity to talk about themselves, and they have an honest sounding board, meaning while you're talking about yourself, she will give you her honest 2 cents. A lot of people don't like the honest 2 cents part. But she said when they have that honest sounding board, she's noticed people learn a lot of wisdom about themselves and where they want to go and how they might go about getting there. Um, and I thought about it. She's right. I know a lot of things I've done over the years where I've talked with friends and family. Um, by and large, a lot of inspiration can be gotten from those conversations where we just sit down, we're having fun, we're spending time with those we care about, the ones we love. Talking, we're having fun, but you touch on those subjects here and there throughout the conversation that it's some real shit. And it inspires you in to do things, to do better. It also inspires you to realize aspects about yourself, things that you could work on, things you could pursue. And I have to totally agree with her. And when you have those type of conversations with entities, it actually goes to the next level because let's be honest, these entities are going to have far deeper insight than we do. So I think that's personally amazing. Um, Secondly, also, if you hear music from this side or screaming and hooting and hollering over here, it's Halloween. My neighbors don't know what a volume control is on the radio, and kids will be kids. So, but we've been on here before and we've heard the neighbors jamming, so it wouldn't be the first time. Let's see. Actually, Odie, it is. Those little steaks are delicious. In fact, the way I get the steaks, you're going to find that out in Tuesday's video. Though I'm not actually doing the pork steaks in the video, but in the video, I do promise I am going to show you a very, very easy way to do a delicious pork steak. And yes, for those people in the who don't have a grill and stuff, we're still focusing on doing it inside in the house so everybody can do it. We will do some grilling videos, but we want to get some stuff that everybody can do, even if you're in a little studio apartment. All right? Cool. Let's see. Saying that's amazing. I love to talk with entities. Haven't got XYZ offerings right now, they say to me. Yeah, your time and your friendship is hands down the best offering you can have. That's why anytime I do give an offering, it's like a cup of coffee or a glass of water. Offering a beverage the same way I would do to a guest in my house. Let's see. Odie, if you are interested, go to workingdragonmystic.com. You'll see a tab for the online courses. We have a free, totally free arcane sight class. Though all the exercises in the arcane sight class can actually help you with all your arcane senses, arcane sight, arcane hearing, all of them. Okay. Wildfire, happy Halloween, mate. Good to see you. Let's see. Wildfire is wondering if you have any plans of making a Fae bestiary of sorts, kind of a video or a collection of videos about different types of Fae and creatures. Wildfire, get out of my tricorn, mate. I'm serious. Yes, that has been in the talks. See, here's the thing. Many of you know the Fae Pathworking is probably going to go on hold because Odin has decided to kidnap me over to a big deep dive on Norse again. Which, don't get me wrong, I love working with the Norse, and I'm really looking forward to working with that path again. Also, can we get the likes up? We got 22 people in here, 11 likes. That's half of you haven't given me the thumbs up, which lets YouTube know people like what I'm doing, and I'm not just some ugly fat redneck up here being goofy. So yes, because of that, one of the things that I've wanted to do was because it's really hard to get to work with the Fae and understand the Fae, and there's not any really good sources that I've found that I feel comfortable recommending. Many of you already know this, and that's one of the reasons I was really looking forward to the Pathworkings and possibly getting those published. So with the delay, I have actually spoke with both of the Fae Queens and a bestiary concept where I interview different types of Fae and get some information on them and potentially do a video detailing a specific Fae or category of Fae is definitely going to be something in the works. And I'm really excited about that one. I do not know the exacts of its full, how we're going to do it just yet, Wildfire. But that is very much in the works, and I am highly excited about it. I am really looking forward to this one. Hermetic. Okay, so Conway's books were actually designed for a time and a period where the occult and magical practitioners were really broke up into what was at the time known as traditional witchcraft and traditional ceremonial magic. And anything that deviated from those traditions um, was met with a lot of hate. There's just not another word for it. So Conway's books actually approaches dragon magic as it's an introductory phase and approaches it as such. That's the reason her books do appear very contradictory to themselves, not just anything else, but literally themselves, is because she is trying to get this concept, trying to get people to get an introduction to working with dragons specifically. Now, the five inner rings, it's not a specific thing to the dragons. It's really not. Um, However, what it does have a semblance. You don't hear me talk about the inner rings, but if you'll notice in the path workings that the dragons have me publishing, they still have a process. There's still a step by step process the dragons will have you follow. You cannot work with the higher rulers until you've worked through some of the lower rulers. Um, there's a lot of people who have tried, there's a lot of people who claim to. And it doesn't take anyone long to find out who's done dragon magic to realize they haven't. Um, and for those people who do genuinely try to reach out to these rulers and perhaps get closer than they should, they quickly find out they shouldn't have done that. So that stair step that the dragons are still using to prepare a person to make sure you learn what you need to learn to go on to the next step, that would be a similar concept, just not done in the ideal of a ring. So we're not going in like a bullseye. We're actually going up in steps, sort of concept. If that makes sense. The organization it's a little different. I've noticed that. I have noticed a little difference. And I think that's because they're shifting away from the fact that Conway followed other traditions so drastically and closely for so long. Um, and I mean, Conway actually, me and her sat down and talked about it. This is stuff she's informed me on, not just the dragons. Um, and as I've told you all, she's the one who encouraged me to publish my work and stuff because the dragons wanted me to publish, but I'll admit it, I wasn't sure I could do it. Yeah. Um, and my thinking was Conway was out there. Y'all don't need me. That was literally my thinking. So she's actually the one that was the final push. Um, so yeah, that would be why there's that differential in there. And you're right, I don't talk about it because the Dragons and Conway both have told me it's time for that next step. And I don't even think the step that I'm talking about today, I don't think it's the final step. I think there's a far further to go. I believe one of my students, one of you all, one of my viewers who takes what I teach, I believe it'll be one of you all that takes it to the next level past where I go. And to me, that's a beautiful concept right there. That is awesome. I just hope I get to live to see the one who does it because I want to be there to shake their hand. Let's see. Can pets sense dragons? Yep. Pets can sense dragons' presence. In fact, my guardian dragon has spent a lot of time chasing my wife's cats around, and the cats spent time chasing the dragons, which you just ain't lived until you've seen a little 10, 15-pound cat chasing a freaking dragon the size of a love seat. So yeah, dragons and animals can sense dragons pretty easily. Hey, Jade, you made it. Glad you can make it. Better late than never. How can you say no to Odin? Actually, you can. But you're going to have to use logic and wisdom to do it. That's the kicker. Odin will respond to logic and wisdom, but you're going to have to be able to supply that. And it has to be logic and wisdom because he will argue. He will argue with you and he will argue logically. He will not try to cheat you, but he will argue with you logically. And it's going to come down to which one of you has the most logical and wise answer to the situation. And if yours really comes down to you're using wisdom to attempt to be lazy, you're not going to win. But if you're using wisdom to show that you can better yourself to grow and to progress by putting this one thing on hold temporarily, and you can actually make that logical and wise argument to him, he'll help you do it. But if better growth, understanding, and wisdom comes from not putting something on hold, he won't let you do it. Therein's the difference. Let's see. Birdie Bones, is there anything that helps you do interpretations or come up with your own spell work? I've been working with entities to get deals, but okay. So if you're looking for correspondences or interpretations for colors, candles, herbs, items in spell work, there's nothing out there that's going to help you find the best interpretation for you other than your gut. So here's what I tell people to do. If you're looking for something that means love for you, first thing I tell them to do is think of a color. What color means love to you? What color first pops into your mind? Write that down. Think of a herb. What herb represents love to you? What herb? What flower? Write that down. What food? Write that down. Whatever pops into your little head first, that is what your mind and your subconscious naturally associates with that. And because of that, that is the strongest correspondence for your spell work. No table on the internet, no table in the Golden Dawn, no table in any traditional witchcraft will ever be better than the correspondence of your own personal subconscious. And all you have to do to get that correspondence is take the time, ask yourself, what is it, and just let it pop in your head. Just pop in there. That is the way to do it. And keep those notes. And you may find over time, sometimes those herbs will shift. That's fine and dandy. That's not an issue. But keep the notes on what those things mean. Not only are you learning a great deal about you, but those are the correspondences that will be the most powerful for you. Now, let's say you come across something you just don't have an opinion on. That happens. There are things in life we just ain't got an opinion on. It's rare, but it happens. Because let's be honest, we're humans. We got opinions. whether you like it or not. Um, in that case, yeah, turn to a correspondence or look it up, find something. But when you're looking at the correspondence, it also still has to make sense to you. So if you look at a correspondence and it don't make no sense to you, like if somebody was to tell me Fireball whiskey represented joy, no, it don't. It represents torment, abomination, and horror. I'm sorry, I'm a classical whiskey guy. So Fireball whiskey, that is not whiskey. I don't know what it is, but don't ever bring that in my house. Oh dear God, it is bad. I would rather drink straight cough syrup. So that could not represent joy for me. So it does have to make sense to you. I hope that makes sense, Birdie. Matt Swagger, greetings. Oh, like the name. Angelica, Mab and Tatiana. Yes, Mab and Tatiana. Here's the thing, Angela. When it comes to the Fae Queens, no record on Earth actually has the true name of the Fae Queens. Period. And before y'all ask, no, I don't have it. The Fae Queens will never, ever, 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 ever give any entity in the multiverse their true name. Period. So when people's like, well, Tatiana's not a real name, it's a Shakespeare name. He gave it. Yeah, he did. But guess what? She liked it. She actually liked his play. So she took that name that was associated with her as a public name that could not be used against her. Mab herself has had many, many, many names. Mab seems to be the popular one, and it also currently seems to be the one she fancies. And that's the one she'll shoulder for the time being. But through the years, they have used different varying names to different extents. It's not their true name. They're not going to give their true name to anyone, which is one of the reasons I actually sit back and laugh when I watch pagans literally argue over the names of the Fae Queens. Because I'm pretty sure if anyone ever actually got a hold of that name, they would just drop dead. The Fae would not allow them to live. Let's see. Is that Twilight? Twilight? Okay, I don't know how to pronounce this, but happy Halloween to you too. Let's see here. Take it easy, Angela. I hope you have some good costumes that come by. When I gave out candy, that was what I enjoyed. I liked seeing all the nice costumes. Let's see, Moonriders. When I say okay, no entity is physically going to manifest so tangibly as like my phone or my little box here. That's not what we mean. They are not physical entities, so when they are here, you would still need to utilize your arcane sight or arcane senses to see them, but their presence is fully and physically in the home. And as to how do I go about my normal day, the same way you go about your normal day if you got a dog running around the house, really, only it's a dog you don't actually have to walk around. Um, my whole life, I grew up with large dogs somewhere. All my family members like them except my mom. So, yeah, it's pretty much the same. Um, if I'm in the kitchen cooking, they'll find their way in and do their thing. They can change their size to some extent if they so choose. I'll be honest, the guardian usually does not choose to do that. They tend to find it fun to take up excess room, but yeah, by and large, it's the same thing. There have been guests who have caught glimpses of the dragons moving around through the house, and the dragons find it funny in order to do this. So I've even had the guardians actually push someone before. So yeah, you got to be careful with some of that. They can get a little playful, but I'm okay with it. To me, it's just like having any guest in my house. They're here. You deal with it. Let's see, Peachy. I've been trying to say no to Odin for years, running for a year, but it don't work. That's because you don't use logic or wisdom, and you have no excuse other than you're wanting to stick your head in the sand, Peachy. I love you, dear, but that argument's not going to work, as we covered earlier. Pretty much, Luna. You say no, he calls in reinforcements. Oh, we jumped. Let's see. Fireball. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people who like Fireball. I don't know why. I don't understand it, but yeah, I'm sorry, it don't count as a whiskey where I come from. But yeah. Hermetic. How about a draconic middle pillar ritual? Hermetic. That's actually one of the ones I did not work with. However, me and a couple of the magicians who did tinker with and do the lesser banishing ritual. I do know that a lot of them still use that draconic lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. They enjoyed it so much in their ceremonial practice, which I found pretty cool. Um, so I can reach out to them and see if they've tinkered with the concept of a middle pillar. I personally have not. I don't see why you couldn't. It's just right off the top of my head. Um, I couldn't tell you how to do it. I'd have to go back and look at it again. But I mean, if they haven't, I could probably, if I get some free time, we all know how my time goes. Um, I could try and tinker with that concept. But yeah, it would be doable. It would be doable. Oh, that's right. Birdie Buns. Thank you. So, the Halloween art contest. Moonradish. Oh, Moonradish. Thank you for the super chat there for $5. We appreciate that. That a bunch of little curious people. I like that, Moonradish. Thank you. Mike's up to you. Much appreciate your all support. You guys are amazing. You guys really do make this worth doing. As to the art contest, we did not have as many entries as I thought we would this year, but we had some really good ones. And I can honestly say I'm glad I did not have to vote on it because I wanted to pick them all. And I was told I couldn't do that. Okay, so however, I was told that the winner, actually, hold on, let me pull this up. Because they gave me a letter, not a name, because I didn't put names on it, so they didn't know. So there's no way anybody can say it was biased. Everything was blind. Okay, so they gave us D, and D is D is Luna. Luna, our own little meme queen, psychotic Luna. You actually did win this year, Cher. Um, to everyone who actually entered, your work was amazing. I loved seeing it. In fact, I'm wanting to do another one for Yule. So let's go ahead and just say right here, we're going to be doing something for Yule, an art contest. So be thinking, get the brain moving, and I will probably announce it before Thanksgiving or somewhere around there to be exactly what you're going to be putting in for. But definitely be thinking about it because you guys have been doing some amazing art. It amazes me how many artistic people we got here. I can't draw a stick figure, so I love seeing your all's work. Let's see. Oh, see Jupiter. Thank you for the super chat there. Let's see. How may I go about communicating with angels and demons or fae? I'm not interested in spells or magic, just communication with entities. I've seen all your videos and some courses, and I'm still confused. Fair enough. Okay, so when you're communicating with an entity, you are going to have to reach out with your arcane senses. But you're also going to have to be able to maintain focus. This is one of the reasons meditation is so fundamental to all forms of magic. Just because it's not a spell doesn't mean it's not magic. If you're contacting an entity, it still falls under that category. Spell work is far easier than contacting an entity. That's the reason a lot of people start there. You are essentially trying to jump the shark and go further. However, that's not to say you have to do spell work. What you're wanting to do is totally doable. You do want to work on your meditation skills. You do want to definitely work on your arcane senses. Those are going to be fundamental to contacting and working with any entity at all, because evocation work is about focus and discipline. And if you don't have that focus and that discipline, then you can't get into the meditative state to access your arcane senses. It's basically like owning a phone with no phone line. It's useless. It's a paperweight. Um, we do have a video on the arcane senses. We also have a video on the astral sanctum. An astral sanctum is also a great way if you just wish to communicate and talk with entities, because once you have set up an astral sanctum, you are utilizing your arcane senses in an astral sanctum. In order to interact, view, and walk around an astral sanctum, you're engaged with all your astral senses. So if you can build an astral sanctum, now you can easily invite an entity, say Odin or Gabriel or Michael or Lucifer or any other entity that you so choose, to the astral sanctum, as long as the entity itself doesn't have restrictions on contact, like the draconic rulers do. There are certain of the draconic rulers that would not respond. And even the first four, if you've not gone through certain steps, they would only respond in what is referred to as a shadow. So it would be less than a blood cell of their true self that they would respond with for your own safety. Um, but those would be all ways in which you could do it, Jupiter. I hope that is helpful to you. And again, we do have the free Arcane Sight course, which can help you with arcane senses. We do have a video on the arcane senses that gives little exercises here on the channel for all the arcane senses. And we do have a video on astral sanctums that you can watch if you have not seen that one already. But also check out our videos on meditation, because you will need to be able to get into that good meditative state. Hope that helps. Let's see. What was it? Oh, everybody's congratulating Luna. That is great. Sorry, Luna. I got to pick on you. But Luna, I will get with you one-on-one so that we can get you your prize, which is it was a discount to the merch store. Someone asked if we could extend that discount to the school. I am still working into that, but I don't know if you have all the classes or not, Luna. I know you're in a few of them, but I'll talk to you, Luna. We'll get you your reward, and congratulations. I will be sharing Luna's work. I'll be posting the winner in the Discord server. And I'll probably do a nice little short video where we show off her work, because she did an amazing job. She did a rendering of Hell, which was a really nice rendering. I actually showed it to Hell, and Hell liked it too. So she did good. I'm proud of her. Proud of y'all. You guys did amazing. I can't draw a stick figure. See, sorry I was away. It's pronounced Twilight. Changed the letter. Okay, so I wasn't. Yeah, okay. I love that you point out you used Twilight before the books came out. I love that. What's my opinion on how using stones and crystals can enhance connection with entities such as Lucifer? You're not going to like this, but I find them absolutely useless. I really do. And the problem with that is, many of you know, I view things very scientifically. Stones are not batteries. Stones do not vibrate in the sense that metaphysics wants to tell you they do. Stones are not alive the way metaphysics tells us they are. There's so many things that spiritualists and metaphysics want to say that contradicts everything we actually know and can prove about stones and crystals, that at the end of the day, Yeah, I don't use them at all, and I actually find them to be absolutely useless for me and for many people I know. However, with that said, it's also pretty standard that the placebo effect does function. Scientifically speaking, the placebo effect fully functions. And because of that, if you do like a specific crystal or something, or it has that specific, um, if a crystal makes you think of an entity, then just as the subconscious and spell work could be utilized in that same way, so could a crystal in those ways. But there's not a specific crystal per se that this crystal does this crystal does this. Um, that's one of the reasons y'all don't see me talking about crystals a lot. I've seen a lot of people get hurt through the crystal gurus, and I'm not a big fan of it. I have seen people stop going to doctors to depend on crystals. Y'all know I'm a big believer in any metaphysical practice needs to be supported by modern medicine. And all the people that these spiritualists have hurt irks me. And I think I've told you all before on here. I've had at least 4 or 5 spiritual healers tell me I'm cured of epilepsy, and I'm still epileptic. So, I mean, it's a miracle they didn't kill me or someone else. Because could you imagine if I'm driving down the interstate and had a seizure? So they put more than just me in danger. So I have issues with that. I have issues. But that said, again, it's one of those things where if it has meaning to you, I understand it, but I wouldn't just support it in and of itself in the way that a lot of people do. To the crystal healers, the Reiki workers out there who talk about their practice, and when somebody comes in with a true issue or problem or pain, they also recommend they see an actual doctor. I have so much respect for those people, so much, because I'm not saying energy healing doesn't work. I'm not saying some of these practices might not have merit. There's always stuff we can learn, but telling these people not to go see a doctor, that's just reckless endangerment, and I have issues. Sorry. Um, Hermetic, how long should a person meditate a day for developing arcane senses? This really goes from person to person, Hermetic. There's no magic number. What I tell my students when I'm working with them directly is try to build yourself up to meditating twice a day um, for 15 minutes. So that's about 30 minutes a day total meditation. But it needs to be good quality meditation. So that does not mean sit down, struggle to get to 15. That means 15 minutes of good meditation. And then you say, well, Drake, if I have to get to my 15, I'm struggling. No, start lower. Start with a benchmark of 5 minutes. Make sure you can get down, get relaxed, and do a 5 minute solid meditation. Build it up just like you would at the gym. Work those muscles, build it up. And you'll get to 30 minutes or that 15-minute marker pretty easily. That would be ideal. Starting meditation practice would be twice a day. We all have lives. We all can't do that. Life gets busy, it gets crazy. I understand that. So you have to take those factors in, and it will differ for everybody. But ideally, if you can do it, 15 minutes twice a day. And honestly, 15 minutes twice a day, that's not that hard to find. Not to be crude, but my brother once said everyone has 15 minutes when they're alone because they're in the bathroom. It's crude, and I usually don't quote my brother, but he was right. Um, so you can find those times. Like for me, when I was punching a clock at Walmart, I used to meditate on my 15-minute break. I would go find a place, sit down, and I'd do my meditation there. So I was actually getting 4 meditations in a day because I'd have my morning meditation, my first 15 break, my second 15-minute break, and then my late night meditation as well. So you can find them. So let's see what we got here. Chicken Noodle just joined, looking good. If you're talking about me, thank you, Chicken Noodle. Can you tell us about your background, formally trained? Yeah, somewhat. I actually got into magic originally to disprove it, and I was lucky enough to know a high priestess who was trained in a few traditions. You've heard, many of you have probably heard me talk about her a time or two, Raven Bella. And she offered to teach me and work with me for several different reasons. Um, and honestly, at this point in time, her and I was a little unsure of each other. I won't lie, but through the training, we actually became really great friends. At this point, she's like a sister to me. She's family. And she got my training started. So she started training me in a few different views in traditional Wicca. From there, she actually did get me some training because her family is a New Orleans traditional voodoo family. So she did actually get me. Well, her grandmother decided I was going to be learning that. And I don't know if you all know this, but Southern grandmothers, they kind of run the family. So what they decide goes. So that she got me that. And she started teaching me some basics in ceremonial magic. However, later on, I would meet another individual who would take my training in ceremonial magic further. Um, Dragon magic, I did not actually have a specific teacher. I was guided toward Conway's books to get started with that. Though I will admit, Raven was instrumental in helping me decode and figure out certain things and the likes there. Raven is actually the one who helped me learn invocation, evocation, all my divinations works and stuff like that. True, she is more religious and spiritual than I am. And in fact, when I stepped from a more spiritual side to more scientific focused on magic, she actually found it quite interesting because she always said that I looked like a fish trying to run in the desert. Because no matter how talented she felt I was at magic, religion and spirituality just didn't seem to suit me. It was like trying to put a coat that was too small on me, is how she put it. Um, but she really didn't know any other way to do it. So when I decided to try that, when I stepped off that path, she was very, very supportive. Still is. In fact, she's one of the colleagues that I still talk to this day. And over the years, I have met with other practitioners in different areas, and we have traded knowledge, information, and training because, well, I mean, that's pretty much the background of it. I do not today claim any specific tradition officially. For the groups that I am initiated into, all of them are still dear friends and they would welcome me with open arms. However, since I no longer specifically walk that path, I don't openly claim the traditions anymore because I don't want to muddy the waters of what I'm doing. And I don't want someone to be like, well, this tradition over here, Drake, he's a member of it, he does this. And they get the wrong idea about that tradition because I have taken up a slightly different road. And I want to be respectful and honor those people who came before me. And I also don't want to do something to um, dishonor where I came from. So I'm a little cautious about those things, Moonradish. Um, I hope that makes some sense. I don't know if it does or not. What's a good working definition of chaos magic? Oh, that's a tricky one, Moonradish. Technically speaking, chaos magic is not just randomness. It is not just anything goes. It is not just do what you want. Chaos magic is if you do a process or a spell and it yields results and works, then that magic is functional and true. If you actually go pick up the book, Condensed Chaos, you will find out chaos magic is more scientific and systematic than any other magic out there because it actually has to yield results. It has stuff that tracks. Yes, you can use anything you want and you can experiment, and that's the fun of it, but they still demand results. And that's the kicker. You have to track it, you have to keep the data, and it has to yield results, which means it has to actually function. And unfortunately, somehow, somewhere along the way in modern magic, we've tossed that out the window and it's became do what you want regardless. Um, and that's really not what it is. It actually has to be able to yield results. You can pull from anything you want to pull from, and you can have a lot of fun doing it. I know an individual who done a lesser banishing ritual that uses Bugs Bunny, even the old Bugs Bunny cartoon, Rick'em Rack'em Firecrackers, this boom ba. It's in there. It won't work for me because I'll be honest with you, I'm too busy laughing while I'm reading this ritual, so it's not going to be a ritual that'll work for me. But for some people, it will work. But chaos magic is essentially a process of understanding that you can pull correspondences, you can pull meaning, and you can plug them in and push the energy into them to create a manifestation. But the key component is it has to work, it has to yield a result. If it does not yield the result you're seeking, that magic does not work. And you have to go back to the drawing board and redo it. So if you're interested in chaos magic, I highly recommend the book Condensed Chaos. Okay, I am getting the clock flag thrown at me on that one, so let's see if I can answer any of these real fast. I'm a little confused. Can you use a crystal as a vessel for energy, though, or an offering to an entity? We had a guardian of ours ask for. Yeah, I mean, you can offer anything to an entity. I've offered coffee. I've offered little plastic statues. Stones are always fun. Dragons enjoy stones. They really do. It's not about power or anything, but they do own it. Can you use crystal as a vessel? You can use anything for a vessel. I've actually used stuffed animals as vessels in a pinch. I used a coffee pod once as a energetic vessel when I was on the road traveling. So you can use anything as a vessel for energy. And yeah, you will find entities will ask for things, whether it be just as a collection or as a snack. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Let's see, Mackenzie, we all got the same 24 crazy thing about meditation. I found the last 3 months I've been doing it. You make the first step to make the time and you get more time. It's amazing. Yes, yes, yes. Mackenzie, mugs up to you. Yes. We all have the exact same crazy 24 hours to attempt it. And our focus is really on those things we want. Where do you spend your time? Because if someone tells me they're worried about finances, they're worried about job, they're worried about their magical practice, and they spend 10 plus hours on a video game, I'm going to say that's not what you're concerned about. You're probably more concerned about that video game file, your progress, or your next quest, not those other things. Because we already know we need to sleep about 6 to 8 hours, which means that other 14 hours is sliced in half immediately, and the rest of your life is just being, yeah. So we really do. That's part of self mastery, people. We really have to look at where are we spending our time? Where are we spending our energy? And yes, a video game takes energy. Sorry, if you're up and you're doing something, even if it's this, you're spending energy. And well, I can't speak for all video games, but at least the games I play, they take a little mental power. I love games that make me think, so that's definitely mental energy. Um, but I also do not go and play those until I have done everything that is my focus of what I'm about and what my goals are. So, Mackenzie, you got that right. We got the same 24. Everyone does. We are the ones who decide how we use it. And you are correct. When you take the step to start that practice and you get it in motion, it is amazing how much more time seems to just free itself and unlock like a dam bursting to further your progress on that path. You are absolutely correct on that. And it is amazing. All right. And Moonrider said, yes, that makes sense. Awesome. Cool. All right, everyone. I am going to hop off here. Probably going to still try and hide from the kids outside because I ain't got no candy. Sounds like my neighbors finally figured out their music was loud. I may or may not have played an extremely loud song before stream just to kind of give them a hint. Maybe they got it. You all have a great week. Remember, Tuesday we do have the kitchen witchery video coming out. So check that one out. Also, share the videos on this channel around on social media. Let friends know about us. Help get the word out so more seekers can find the channel, more seekers can find the information, perhaps just get inspired. I don't have all the answers. Maybe a video here will inspire them further so that they can better understand themselves, get control of their lives, manifest the life they want. That's ultimately the goal we got here. Be thinking about the Yule art contest because you guys did amazing for Samhain. We did not quite get enough that I don't think we have enough to do the video like we were contemplating, but that's okay. I still thank every one of you all who entered. You guys did amazing. Your work was awesome. And I look forward to seeing what we do for the Yule one. Yeah, other than that, y'all have a great week, and I will see you Friday for Research and Ramblings, all right? And I just realized I'm going to have to do my normal sign off, and I ain't got a full brim, so that's going to be a little weird for me, but that's okay. We'll get through this. Y'all have a great week, and I'll see you later. Good night.